What's up, everybody? Come on in. Adam's cracking another beer. No surprise there. We'll be getting started here in just a bit. Come on in. Bring your questions. We're going to have an episode of Buy Low candidates tonight. Should be a lot of fun. Adam got himself a new microphone. As you can see, it's just like mine. It's very pretty. We got Rhodey here, of course. Our baby, as usual. Come on in. We're going to have some fun. Get started here in just a bit. Adam's finishing up his notes in addition to getting another beer. So we'll get rolling here in just a bit.
No fun tonight.
No fun?
No fun tonight.
Okay. Adam says no fun tonight, guys. Just all strictly data and facts and numbers and lots of useful nugs.
I'm sick of fun.
Are you part of the No Fun League?
That's right.
That's right.
Hey, everyone. So good to be here. I sound so good, don't I? Yeah, it's a new mic. Sure Nation. Stand the F up.
New mic, new me, baby.
Sure Nation, for real.
That's what we've always said.
These are Sures, guys. Shure.
Not a sponsor. Would love for sure to be a sponsor.
They should.
Eddie, how you looking over there? You got another beer?
Looking good.
You cracked another one. Are you ready? So you don't have to crack it in the middle of the sode?
Don't want to make a lot of noise. You know, I want this to be a pristine audio night.
As you get up and sneak off to crack probably another beer. He's putting a lime in the beer, folks. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Have just 6 beers open.
6 beers, just progressively more and more of each one drank. Get that
Hot sauce.
Isn't it just like the standard hot sauce?
Cholula.
Cholula? Yeah, that's the standard hot sauce.
That's what they have at Dover's, but it's good. Big fan of it. Hot sauce is important, man. You're not a big hot sauce boy, are you?
I have an ulcer, so no, I can't be a hot sauce guy.
That's right. You're weak.
And he's being mean. I'm checking out the stream to make sure we sound good, and he's being doubly mean.
How many people we got filing in? Over 20 at this point?
No, it's looks like 15,000.
Wow. It's low.
I know. So the low night, guys. Come on in. We're going to have some fun. Just keep on piling in. Don't worry about COVID. It doesn't exist on the internet.
Hey, yeah, give them some more time to come on in, Josh.
I think they've had enough time.
Give them some more time if you would.
I'd like to crack about 8 more beers. Yeah, you got beers. I literally have emergency, like immune booster. this bottle over here.
Different pass.
That's right.
Different pass.
Different phases in life right now.
Sure.
Different seasons.
Different seasons. Different strokes for different folks, if you will.
White girls like to say that. Call things seasons.
But it's not SZN. It's
right.
just truly like the seasons.
Seasons of life.
Seasons of life. They say it a lot in relation to their friends, I feel like. You know. She just was in a different season of my life. Back in college, I was doing keg stands. She was my keg stand friend.
It's the best type of friend.
This is the best type of friend. I mean, you got to trust that person to hold up your legs.
Let's get into it.
Ready? Yeah, that video was uber disturbing. No more TikTok for you. I'm cutting you off officially.
I'm on there, guys.
Get off of the TikTok, Addy.
Just kidding. I haven't been on TikTok yet.
That's good. You need to stay the hell away from
TikTok. But I would like to. I think there's a lot of people I'd like to watch on there.
No, you really wouldn't.
That site's bad news for someone like me, man. I love like cringe.
You do. Like Nathan For You is your favorite television show, and I literally can't watch 3 minutes of that without wanting to kill myself. All right, here we go, folks.
This is Big 3 IDP.
Catchers in the league going in every week, racking them points up. Who got the streak? Cause we joking it, having some fun. Yeah, this how the crew getting it done. I'm talking Josh, Adam, and Connor. Yeah, this a command and conquer. Hard hitting, the IR's real. This football, yeah, you know the deal. Cause it's all about the defense and the TDs. Yeah, this is Big 3 IDP.
What's up, you diehards, you degenerates, you lovers of defensive football? This is Josh Raymer, and we are back with another episode of the Big 3 IDP podcast. And I'm joined in the Sode Shack tonight on my right, sounding good as hell in my ears right now. It's Adam Markham. Addy, how are you, baby?
It's me. Hey, everyone. I'm doing so good. I'm sounding so good. New mic. Who this?
New mic, new me, baby.
Yes, sir.
This is about the time. Actually, it's a little past the time that most people give up their New Year's resolution. Thankfully, your New Year's resolution was to sound hella tight on the pod, and here you are making good on it.
Yeah, that was the one goal, and I think I'm done now. I'm cool. I'm good.
You can just
Got it in.
right off into the sunset.
That's right. Ready to party now, baby.
It's like if you went to the gym one time, got a pump in, you're ready to hit Qdoba and have a couple beers.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely.
Literally.
That's where I got the inspiration from. Welcome in. We are glad you guys are here tonight. We got a really fun episode for y'all. I apologize for the potato quality on my audio last week. We had a little technical snafu with the mics, but we are making up for it, Addy, making amends for it tonight with these two hella nice sounding microphones. And we're excited that you guys are joining us for yet another episode. We mentioned it on last week's pod. We were going to be doing sell high candidates last week. We're going to do buy low this week, Addy. We got some in-depth player breakdowns and some quick hitters that we're going to touch on. You've been doing work in the dock all day long, son.
Sure, wanted to give the listeners some goodness.
You were
Working hard for them.
You were in that PFF subscription, just digging out all the nugs you could find.
Trying to win them over.
That's right.
Trying to win them over again.
That's right. The job is never done, Addy.
That's right.
Got to prove ourselves time and time again.
Constantly whining and dining.
This space requires that you be authentic and constantly proving your worth to your listeners and your followers, Addy.
Yeah, there's nothing that's more important to me than being authentic.
Authentic in this space.
Right, yeah, of course.
Outside,
This community.
Outside this space and outside this community, don't care.
No.
Inauthentic as hell.
Right.
But in this space, by God, we are going to be true to ourselves. So important.
Yeah.
Got to be authentic.
It's the only way to be. It's the only I know how to be.
I know.
I mean, it's just who I am.
That is who you are. And we're thankful for that. But we've got a great episode for y'all. Like I mentioned, offense, defense, we're going to hit it all. And we should mention a couple housekeeping notes here. Connie's asleep. If you're wondering, where's Connie? Connie fell asleep about 8:30 tonight on top of the bed.
Yeah, we did have to wake him up to get one of the microphones.
Just get a microphone. I was like, Connor, this is very important. Get the microphone to Adam. And he fell asleep at 8:30 before that job was complete.
Connor, I went over and saw him, to pick that up, and I was like, Connor, what happened? And he said he took a hot shower and then just laid down. Got a little still.
What do you think's going to happen, Connie? When you take a hot shower and get still, that's game over.
Yeah. Get you a little, relaxed. Not good.
Not good. So Connie's sleeping. We got John Macri back in the feed on Thursday with Mike Wohlert breaking down NFC. I think it's keep, trade, cut, or buy, sell, hold. Buy, sell, hold. That's what it is.
Who cares?
NFC.
Macri and Wohlert.
It's a beautiful combo. Two
Wow.
Browns fans. They get to co-commiserate.
Yeah, that'll be really special.
We've had a fun little chat going on Twitter. Me, John, Mike, and Johnny the Greek. It's our WandaVision / Marvel films nerd group. And it's been a lot of fun. I think we may do a legit Marvel pod at some point in the future.
Yeah, you guys are, you guys reference stuff like that a lot, and I'm just always like, yeah.
Yeah, man, totally. Captain America, cool.
But I love it. Hey, I support you boys. I love that you guys love that. I really do.
We do. So look forward to that. It's coming on Thursday. And then we got Mike back in the feed. Mike is double dipping. Next week, he'll be on for a nice crossover pod. Adam, that's a Marvel reference as well. A lot of crossover events happening in the MCU. But we will have a crossover event with Mike. We are going to do an IDP 101 and 201 kind of double episode, double feature.
For the dopes.
For the dopes, yes. For the folks that haven't converted to IDP yet, that will be a basically crash course on everything you need to know related to IDP.
Yeah, I think we're literally defining IDP.
I think we literally are going to spend a solid 5 minutes. What does that acronym mean? But we're going to break it up. So IDP 101 will be in the big 3 feed. IDP 201 will be in Mike's feed. So make sure you're subscribed to the Mic'd Up with Mike Wohlert podcast, wherever you get your podcast. It's really good. He's going to be coming back around draft time. He's on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but we'll be dropping that in the feed because this is about the time, Addy, when people start thinking about firing up new leagues. And if you're thinking about that, we want you to fire up an IDP league.
I just did. I just fired up a startup. It's a cool little thing. There's a trend going around, and you've gotten in on it, but these co-manager leagues.
That's right.
Joey the Tooth and our boy Evan Brown put together this fun little, it's a shark something. I forget the name of the league. But there's 16 of us. We all have co-managers, so there's really 32 of us.
That's awesome.
It's wild as hell in the chat. I mean, it's the
constant
notification. Right? Yeah, the constant notifications. But man, it's a ton of fun. Full IDP. A lot of people have never played IDP.
That's great.
Some of it shows. We had someone take Jordan Whitehead before Buda Baker and Jamal Adams.
Yoicks.
Appreciate that. We me and my boy, shout out Aaron Mayberry. That's my co-manager.
Oh, you got Dynasty DVM?
That's my dog. We're doing all right.
I love that.
A lot of fun, man. A lot of people, trying to get into IDP, and I think that you just got to try it, man, and you'll see what it's all about. And what it's all about. Fun.
It's all about fun. It's all about taking Jordan Whitehead before Jamal Adams and Buda Baker.
Like, yes.
So yeah, Addy mentioned that. That's something I wanted to bring up. We don't really have any news to get into tonight. Sounds like the Steelers are bringing back Big Ben. Whatever. Yawn. Okay, cool. But that is something that Addy mentioned that I wanted to touch on because it's not something I think that is really caught on in fantasy football. Is co-owners, co-managers. And I added our boy Boo Bam in Unreal Tournament. He's going to be my co-owner in that league. And then our main league, the XFFL, just raised the buy-in to $125. So the payout for first place is like $1,050. 1,050 smackaroos, Addy. That's a prize I want to win. I'm like, Josh wants another ring, baby. He wants that jackpot. Wants to buy him some new shoes or take the wife on vacation. And so there were a couple areas that my game is not the strongest in, and I was like, I could work on getting better, or I could bring in somebody to help me complement my strengths and also have someone to talk to about my team. Ultimately, our league is, we were talking about this before we got on mic, our league is so specific. You can't really go to an expert and say, hey, should I trade Nuke's $28 million contract for Jerry Judy's $8 million contract, but this team's pushing for it, and I'm kind of in a mid-reap. Too much context.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
You can't explain this to anybody.
Its own market.
Yeah,
it's its own thing.
Totally different. There's no way that you could explain this in a way that anybody could help you. And I could talk with you or Bobby or whoever about the league, but ultimately, you're my competitors. I can't share everything with you. So to have another person who religiously obsesses over this team and wants to chat with me about it is something I've never had before. And it's somebody that can help me in the areas where I'm weak. And so to have both of those advantages, it was a no-brainer. I got to thinking, why have I not done this before?
Yeah, I know. I was kind of jealous that you did this.
That I snatched up our boy Kyle B?
Yeah, I mean he's a great pickup. Jeez, that's the pickup of the year right there.
It really is. My dude is writing waiver articles and rookie, Devy articles over on IDP guys.
And that's the thing, especially with us. We were kind of talking about this earlier, but so we typically record on Tuesday nights. And by the time we get out of here, it's like 11:30. Usually we're pretty beat. We're, looking to post a Sode and then go to bed or whatever. So that's Tuesday night during the season, which is when you got to have your waivers in by. And I usually would forget almost every week, pretty much. I was in too many leagues. We've covered all this back in the season.
We know.
But yes, I would love a co-manager just to go through and just set my waivers.
Yep.
Just don't just go through every league, do that type stuff. That would be such a benefit. So yeah, jealous. I'm might be out there looking for somebody.
Uh-oh. You may have some people knocking on your door. You better be careful.
Just kidding. I'm a lone wolf, baby.
I can't see it with you, but it is super helpful. Kyle B is going to help me with waivers. He's going to help me with rookies. I'm really excited. It's good just to have someone like, I talked to my wife for 30 seconds about my team, and she wants to run into traffic. And, I can talk to you guys as well, but again, I can't be like, hey, I'm thinking about trading so-and-so, because then that gives you an unfair advantage,
Yeah, and I'm not going to,
you're not going to tell me the good things to do because you want me to get worse so you can get better, right?
Yep,
so
absolutely, baby.
That's how it goes. So yeah, co-managers, co-owners, try it out. Like, think about who is someone that I can pull in? And another benefit as well, we've had some turnover in this league. Things happen. If, God forbid, something ever were to happen, if Kyle or whoever ever wanted to step in, you have a new owner ready to go.
Yeah.
There's no drop-off. There's no learning curve. A lot of advantages to it and more people to share. If you have a fun league, don't you want more people to be involved in the fun of that?
Yeah.
I would think so.
I think so. Good points.
Yeah. So let's talk about some buy low candidates, Addy. This is, as we know, trade season. A lot of picks getting swapped right now. I was talking to Kyle B tonight. We kind of had the rundown about the team and the league. Said not a lot happening in our main league right now because the salary cap hasn't been set. I think that will change once the cap gets set. But for now, everybody's kind of hunkering down and probably doing the same kind of research, figuring out who should I be selling, who should I be buying.
Yep.
So we want to talk about tonight some guys that maybe are coming off injury-plagued seasons, disappointing seasons, maybe underperformed expectations, didn't get the playing time we expected. Maybe they even got benched. And so we're going to be looking at those guys you should be looking to acquire. Now, Addy, there's an important point here. You don't always want to buy the dip just to buy the dip. Mm-hmm. There are some guys that aren't worth buying. They need to just stay out there.
It can just be, I mean, the thing's going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, they're just going to take up a spot on your roster.
Yeah.
These guys still have value, that the perception of that value is lower than what the actual value is. That's what we're talking about tonight. A chance to cash in on a opportunity where you will have more value returned to you than what you paid to acquire this asset.
Yeah.
Right?
Guys that people may be a little frustrated with.
That's right. A lot of times, buy low candidates come about because of emotion. Mm-hmm. As much as we like to say, play with logic. If someone burns your team, like we've got a guy on here, DJ Chark, we're going to talk about, burned me. He was my most rostered player across every league. I had him in 5 of 6 leagues. Killed me. And it would be smart for me to say, screw DJ Chark. I'm not acquiring him in any league. But the emotion is what keeps you sometimes from making these rational fantasy football decisions.
Keanu Neal was a perfect example of that last year. 2 years in a row where I think he had season-ending injuries like the first 2 weeks. And then last year he was back in the top 10. So, yeah, maybe we have a few of those on this list.
Maybe. Well, let's kick things off here. We're going to start defensive heavy tonight. And we're going to kick things off with a linebacker who looked at the state of the New York Jets and said, no, I'm good. I'm going to sit this year out. You guys take care, and I'll be back in 2021. We're talking about C.J. Mosley. Now, Addy, like I said, you've been doing the work in the dock tonight, so this is going to be an Addy-heavy episode. Make the case why C.J. Mosley is a good buy low candidate.
C.J. Mosley. So remember when he signed a 6-year, $85 million contract in that 2019?
Was it 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, that hasn't really worked out. You know, in 2019, he played just 2 games for the Jets because of that hamstring injury that kept lingering on. And then, of course, 2020, he opted out, and rightfully so. Get out of that clown circus. But, Neville Hewitt, Patrick Onwuasor, Harvey Lange, all these guys are set to be free agents.
Dang.
Yeah, that Jets linebacker cupboard is suddenly very bare. So, I think the Jets let all these guys walk except maybe Neville Hewitt. But either way, I think C.J. Mosley is by far the best linebacker of the bunch, and he might finally get a chance to show that he's worth a fraction of that contract that the Jets gave him. So, I'm expecting Mosley to be drafted somewhere around LB 30 or worse in Dynasty, and likely in that LB 20 to 30 range for redraft. So
he could go even lower. I feel like he's forgotten about.
I think so.
I really think there's going to be a moment in most people's drafts they're going to be like, oh my God, I forgot C.J. Mosley's here, because so many people look at the fantasy finishes.
Yes.
When they're drafting.
Yes.
C.J. Mosley not going to be on there.
Nope. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love that value for him next year. In upcoming this summer. So we know how fruitful that role has been. At linebacker there in New York. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see CJ return to his 125 tackle ways. We just need him to stay healthy, which of course has been, troubling lately and been hard for him to do. But I think the year off to, heal up, avoid the Gase clown show, that was a great choice for him. So big target for me.
it just makes sense, right? You got Brian Flores in there. Brian Flores known for getting the most out of his defense. If you're CJ Mosley, you have to be fired up that Gase is gone. You had a year off to rest and recharge. You're still getting paid a lot of money, right? So, and where's the competition? Like we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Where's the competition for tackles
It's
coming
gone.
from?
I mean,
Jamal Adams is not there.
Yeah.
Where's the linebacker competition?
Yeah, that defense is bad. Marcus May is also a free agent. I mean, it's
Ashton Davis and CJ Mosley right now.
Quentin Williams. That's it.
That's it. They're 3 guys.
Yeah.
Are they just going to like roll out a bunch of tackling dummies at the other 8 positions?
They're gonna be bad. They're gonna be bad for a little bit. I mean, even they're gonna get the new quarterback in there, so hopefully that can kickstart them in the right direction. But man, they're gonna be a bad defense. They're gonna be a struggle on offense. It's gonna be nasty for the next few years.
I think that seems like a 3 or 4 year kind of rebuild type of situation. Hopefully they're patient. I think not Flores. I said Flores. It's the guy from San Francisco. It is
Saleh.
Yes, Robert Saleh. So you got to be pumped if you're, a Jets defender, one of the 3 that's going to make some kind of impact for the team. But you think they go Zach Wilson there at number 2 or Justin Fields?
I don't know. We'll see.
Zach Wilson's the one I've been seeing mocked. That's if they do. They said they're going to wait until after they do their draft evaluation to decide on Sam Darnold. Basically, is he better than Zach Wilson, Justin Fields? But I think they go quarterback.
Yeah, I think so too. What are they calling the Mormon Mahomes?
The Mormon Mahomes, is that what they're calling Zach Wilson?
I like it. He can make those same type throws. Pretty fun to watch. We'll see. So much of it is guesswork, though.
It is.
I mean, remember Mahomes went he was like the 3rd quarterback drafted behind
not Tannehill, Trubisky and Watson. I'm pretty sure.
So no one really knows.
No. So CJ Mosley, I agree with you. This is a great buy low candidate because of A, everyone's forgotten about him, and B, the competition is going away. So opportunity is going to go up. Mm-hmm. So that's
he's still 29. I mean, that you can, think about like DeMario Davis, something like that. He's 32, 33.
And it would be different if he wasn't coming off a year of rest.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. It's a look at Gronk.
Yep.
It can work out if your body's been beat up and suddenly you get a year off to just work out and stay in shape and get ready for the next season.
It was great for his mental health, though, too.
I'm sure. Not having to deal with the Gase clown show, like you said. All right, let's talk about another older dude that should be on your radar here, Chandler Jones. Talk to me about Chandler.
Yeah, that's going to be the theme, kind of. I think we're going to have a lot of these kind of unsexier guys, not any of the Brian Burns or Montez Sweats or, a lot of those guys that people are crazy about. Some of the guys that, may start slipping a little bit, but I still think have a few more elite years. One of those guys, Chandler Jones, turns 31 in a few days, so happy early birthday to Mr. Jones. For whatever reason, I thought Chandler was older than he is. I don't know. He just seems like he's been around a lot longer.
I would have said like 34.
That's what I thought he was.
He's been in the league since like the Cardinals were in the Super Bowl.
Right. So, that's kind of nice to me. 31 isn't that big of a deal when we're talking about pass rushers. And let's not forget, Chandler Jones put up 19 sacks in 2019. In 2018, he put up 13. 2017, he put up 17. He's elite at getting to the quarterback. Chandler
Jones is still in that range for grown-ass man strength. Mm-hmm. Don't forget this. This is very important.
Who's his brother, too? John Jones.
John Bones Jones?
That's his brother, dude. That's who he grew up with.
That's a good gene pool right there.
Exactly. I love me some Chandler Jones. But, so Steve Kim, he already came out and said that Chandler Jones will not be getting cut this season, and I kind of believe him. They're likely losing Hassan Reddick in free agency. But besides that, you have to figure, this team and ownership group think of themselves as contenders.
They were a heartbeat away from the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with them. I don't think they're far away. I mean, a coaching change might be what they need, but you have to feel good about Kyler's development entering his 3rd year, and having, a defense with 2 young superstars in Isaiah Simmons and Budda Baker. They can't let Chandler Jones get away. So I'm predicting 13 plus sacks in 2021.
Ooh. I mean, but look at the production, right? That's not insane when you say 19 sacks in 2019, 13, and 17.
That's kind of a little down year for him, I think.
That would be below expectations.
Yeah.
What did he do this past year? Do we know?
I think he had 1 sack, but he didn't play great. He played like 4 games. He wasn't, he got off to a very slow start.
Was he hurt?
He eventually ended up, I think, tearing his ACL.
But did he really?
So he had a big injury.
Let's vet this.
That could be false, but it was.
Let's look up Chandler Jones. Oh, no, his brother punched him in the head and detached his neck. No, he had a biceps injury.
Okay. Well, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
good.
That's
That's
something
good
you
news.
can come back from.
Here,
That's
Addy
October 14th.
Sorry, guys, talking shit, just giving these guys the worst
The
injuries
ACL.
always. I think it was ACL Achilles combo.
I think it was both Achilles, and then he tore both his ACLs getting up on the surgery table. Yeah, it was October 14th. He was going in for surgery. So, yeah, it was the game against the Jets. Damn you, Jets. Injuring Chandler Jones and having a terrible defense.
But yeah, I'm excited about. I'm gonna probably target him here in the next few rounds. In this 31. I mean, we can seriously we can get like we can get another 2-3 years of elite production out of him. I think
You have to know where the old as hell moniker is actually important. It's a little less important for defense.
Mhm.
It really is.
it really is.
I mean, cornerback, that's probably an area I want to stay away from when it
Yeah.
comes to being old as hell.
But
Wide
safeties-
receiver, running back, yeah, you don't want 31-year-old wide receiver, running backs, cornerbacks, but defensive ends, defensive tackles, linebackers, safeties, yeah, man,
see it all the time.
that's good with me. Let's talk about another C name. You got CJ, you got Chandler, which is an interesting name in and of itself. Then you got Cameron Jordan of the New Orleans Saints. Talk to me about Cameron Jordan, Addy.
Yeah, so he played all 16 games, which was good for 816 snaps, but he finished with only 7.5 sacks. This was his worst output since 2016.
Well, you had Trey Hendrickson basically just
Try.
hogging all the spotlight there.
Right.
As we know, he's a sell high
Yeah.
as a free agent.
Yeah, if anyone wants to bet that Trey Hendrickson is going to regress, holler at me. Put some money on it.
Put some money on it. I got 5 on it.
Yes, sir. That's a classic right there, Josh.
That's
Good-
right, baby.
Good throwback. But yeah, so this was his worst season since 2016. Remember, Cameron Jordan had 15.5 sacks in 2019, 12 in 2018, 13 in 2017. So he's been a top 5 pass rusher for the past 3 years. So this was a little alarming, the dip in production. But are we scared? Hell no.
We ain't never scared.
Thankful. We are thankful for this opportunity. He still finished with 57 pressures, which is 12th best among edge and interior rushers. He boasted a 15.67 win percentage.
Are you busting out the win percentage on me right now?
Shout out Macri.
Shout out Macri.
So yeah, I mean that 15.67 win percentage, that's still borderline elite. Shaq Barrett had a win percentage of 17.1. Zadarius Smith had one of 15.4. Brian Burns had 14.2. He's in good company.
That's some very good company.
Yeah.
And look at Shaq Barrett, man. Can we just I know we've given Shaq Barrett some love, but that dude about to get all the money. I kind of hope he doesn't go back to Tampa Bay unless they can re-sign him to a long-term deal, because I want to see this dude get like 4 years, 90, 100 million. Like I want him to get a huge payday.
Have we had that convo? Do they keep do you think it's better for them to keep Godwin or Barrett?
I saw this getting brought up in our Slack a few days ago, and I think it makes way more sense for them to keep Shaq Barrett.
I think
I
so
think
too.
defensive end is a much more valuable position than wide receiver, especially when you have Big Mike. You can bring Antonio Brown back, I think, for cheap. I think AB is going to be like, look, I'll take a discount to play with Tom Brady and chase another ring.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I mean, they didn't even need Godwin that much down the
Yeah.
stretch. He still had some great games, but
we saw Barrett made such a difference.
such a difference. He was huge in that Super Bowl, and Godwin had 1 catch.
Yeah.
Two
And
catches?
And that's usually a theme. You got to have playmakers like that, like Barrett is. And, they should do everything that they can to keep both him and Levante.
Yes, Chris Godwin is not making Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable in the Super Bowl.
No.
That's Shaq Barrett.
Yeah. But, so anyway, with Cameron Jordan, I'm expecting him to get back in that, 11 to 13 sack range this upcoming year. So buy that dip, baby. And also, in terms of dynasty, I think it's highly likely that Cam maybe gets released after this year.
Do you think he's on? Because the Saints are in cap hell. Do you think he survives the cuts coming down this season?
I think he might survive this season, although we'll get to something later. I mean, these teams do have ways around this cap.
The Saints, I don't know if they have any magic left being $80 million over the cap.
Yeah, his dead cap number this year is still way up there, but it dropped from $17 million to $5 million this next year.
Okay, this next year. That makes a lot of sense then.
So, Saints are going to be in a bad cap situation. And also, I think a bad.
I think they're going to be a bad team. I think their run of playoff berths is over.
So I kind of see this being like a JJ Watt type deal next year. I think that they'll try and do right by Cam and maybe give him a chance to go compete somewhere else. Release him or try and trade him for something. But
he'd be a great trade candidate right now.
I think so too.
He really would.
It's time. New Orleans has to realize, like,
it's reset time.
Like all of us do when we looking at our fantasy rosters and our dynasty teams. You got to know when to rebuild, and now is the perfect time to do it.
Now is the perfect time. Drew Brees is going to be hanging him up.
Trade Kamara.
Seriously.
Trey Thomas.
Trade just blow it up. It's okay, guys. Like, it's okay. You've had a good run. You won a title with Drew Brees. You probably should have won a couple others, but you made the playoffs. Like, you've been a very successful team. But, I mean, if you traded all those guys, you could probably amass a war chest of picks that would let you move up and take a Zach Wilson or a Justin Fields.
That sounds like 4 to 5 first-round picks.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think that's the route to go. Of course, they'll never do it, but that would be a smart way to go. Get those contracts off your books, get some picks, rebuild. If only it was that simple in the NFL. I'm loving these picks so far, Addy. I noticed a theme here, overlooked, older guys that aren't the sexy names. And, again, price is important here. Each of these guys, if you were going to look out and not acquire them in a startup draft necessarily, but maybe acquire them for draft pick compensation, each of these guys, late round pick, like, are you giving up a pick? Like, are you...
Yeah, if you're a contender, that's the important thing. I think you're only acquiring these people if you're a contender.
Okay, so if you're a rebuilding team, not the best fit.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No. Right.
Because these are short window guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a contender, and you're talking about this next guy on the list, I could potentially talk, myself into like a late third or something.
All right.
Right before draft time.
Well, let's talk about him. You mentioned him, J.J. Watt. Going to be on the move. I think he ends up in Cleveland. That's where we've heard
It'd be awesome.
The most smoke lining up alongside Myles Garrett. Could be a lot of fun. But regardless, why is J.J. Watt a nice buy low candidate?
So J.J. Watt, he was double teamed 30.1% of the time last year. This was tops among all edge rushers according to ESPN stats and info. He had a 22% pass rush win rate, which was 8th best among edge defenders. Too long didn't read? Watt still has it, baby.
He's still good?
Still good.
Still at that cabin with the 6,000% pain song blasting through the speakers?
Oh, yeah. We still listen to that Fort Minor, baby. But, yeah, I mean, I know he's turning 32 in March, and he's dealt with some scary injuries over the course of his career. But JJ's on a different scale, man. Not only is a grown-ass man, he's a legend, an all-timer. Legends don't always fall off like that. Think of the all-time greats. Reggie White, Calais Campbell, Michael Strahan, Julius Peppers, Jason Taylor. All these guys were still insanely productive well into their mid-30s. I expect the same for J.J. Watt, who, by the way, played the second most snaps of his career with 1,013 in 2020. Now imagine a motivated J.J. Watt on a team set up to win now. I'm all in and will not be surprised if we see another 15 sack from J.J.
Did any of those guys single-handedly bring a city back from the brink after a hurricane like J.J. Watt did? No, sir. J.J. Watt is a superhero.
Yeah. Michael Strahan, he's on, Good Morning America, something like that. That's a pretty big deal.
That's a big deal. You're right.
Reggie White probably did something crazy,
pretty cool, too.
He has, like, some of those, I'm blanking on the SNL reference. Shit. I have to move on. Damn it.
You had your moment. You messed it up with that beautiful microphone and everything. Did you see this? Speaking of J.J. Watt, I just have to digress here for a second, Addy. Of course, Urban Meyer hired that. I think it was a strength coach who was like a big-time piece of shit, like saying potentially racist stuff or like really awful stuff to his players at some college program he was at. And Urban Meyer's like, I've known this man for all my life. And they hire him, and he resigns pretty much the same day because one of the institutes that champions hiring minority candidates in the NFL came out and was like, this is the kind of stuff that keeps good minority coaches from being hired, is because it's the good old boy network. This dude's a piece of trash that was universally hated by the players at his old team, and he just got hired on because Urban Meyer vouches for him. I've known him all my life. So that he resigned the same night. So Urban Meyer, not off to a great start with the Jacksonville tenure. Did you see what they did, though? They hired the head of marketing or PR for the Texans. They got fired. Remember the stink that got raised because I think her first name was Amy. She got fired by the Texans because she wasn't a culture fit. Like, she was the one who was spearheading all this J.J. Watt, Hurricane Harvey relief stuff. All the good press that you saw coming out from that was all her.
When things were going okay.
Yes, exactly. That was probably Easterby, wasn't feeling the vibe that she was giving off in the hallway or something when they would pass each other. So she was fired, right? Guess who Urban Meyer goes and scoops up as a nice little PR move for himself after this disastrous hire of the strength coach.
He's learning. You got to like that.
You got to rebound. So Urban, at least he's learning and growing and evolving. J.J. Watt, you're right. Seeing him on a team where, here's the big thing for me, double teamed 30.1% of the time.
It's absurd.
You get him somewhere like Cleveland where he doesn't have that kind of double team rate, and he's obviously healthy, played his second highest number of snaps last season.
Yeah, over 1,000 snaps for
That's crazy.
31-year-old J.J. Watt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was still a top 12 defensive end in fantasy.
Bill Brasky was what I was thinking of.
Bill Brasky, were you looking it up on your phone?
No.
You just thought of it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that for a second. Go back to drinking your beer. Yeah, J.J. Watt, love it, especially if he ends up in a good landing spot. Do you go get him right now, though? Because I think the price goes up if he lands somewhere like Cleveland.
I think you do. I think now's the time to go get him.
I think he's going to be smart. He strikes me as the type of guy who's going to go somewhere where he has a chance to feast.
Yeah.
Where he has help along that defensive line, somewhere like Buffalo, somewhere like Cleveland, where he can really pin his ears back, Pittsburgh, and go get after the quarterback.
I can't wait to see it, man.
I love it. Ooh, I love this next guy, too. We're not going the kind of older, not sexy route, Addy. We're going with Willie Gay. We saw John Macri with a beautiful tweet about him today. Talk to me about Mr. Willie Gay.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, those rookie linebackers, they've all kind of stayed in the same tier they were drafted in. Isaiah Simmons, Kenneth Murray, Patrick Queen, those guys are going 1 through 3, and I think that's still kind of the way they're thought of. But, not that I think Willie Gay should be going ahead of those guys, right now. It's just rare that it would work out, the way we kind of thought it would. But our boy Willie Hetero, he gets a chance to switch that order going up. I'm sorry, he get a chance to switch that order going forward.
That's hard to say. I would have just said order going up too.
Been saying a lot of stuff tonight.
Order up.
It's a good soul for Addy tonight.
That's right. Addy sounded good.
Sure.
Done the research.
Got some beer in me. Got a breeder.
Got some hot sauce.
Sure.
What is it? Cholula?
Brought all the fixings.
It's a
Special night.
Cholula?
Cholula. But Damian Wilson, he's a...
You're nothing if not authentic in this space, Addy.
I am authentic. I'm authentic, all right?
We are #blessed.
No denying that. But Damian Wilson is a UFA, and my spidey sense is tingling and is telling me that Anthony Hitchens may be getting cut too.
That's just the hot sauce talking, Addy.
That's true. Hitchens, he has a high dead cap number of $8.4 million, but releasing him would actually free up $2.2 million. So
the Chiefs are over the cap right now. I think they have to be. Here's how they're going to make this decision. Andy Reid's going to be, of course, eating ribs, as he always does. He's going to be watching film of that Super Bowl of Anthony Hitchens and Ben Neiman and Damian Wilson just getting absolutely spit roasted by the Tampa Bay offense. He's going to be like, good God, cut this man right now. Bring him in here so I can cut him. I can make him watch this film and then cut him to his face.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a great point. That's something that almost gives me a little bit of pause is the fact that KC was so bad in that Super Bowl that I feel like they need to bring anyone in that they can. But about the Hitchens getting cut, I said that they could release him for $2.2 million, but they actually would have even more cap flexibility if they use the June 1st designation on him. Shout out to my boy Tiki Laundry, but this was something I wasn't aware of. But you're allowed 2 per team, but it's a way to kind of get you out of some cap.
So a lot of teams going to be using that June 1st designation then, because a lot of teams in some bad cap situations.
Yeah, I mean, and also it made me realize that Landon Collins maybe isn't, a sure thing there.
Ooh, I still think he's coming back. I really do. I don't think they're going to roll with the 7th round rookie as well as he performed, but I did see Greg Rosenthal throwing it out on his surprise cuts list. Did you see this article, Ed? He had for both the AFC and NFC, really good. Landon Collins was on the list
for
possible surprise cuts for the NFC.
I think that might have been where the article was actually referenced from, was from him. But okay, so here this is a find from our boy Tiki Laundry. So shout out to you, bruh. Thank you for this. But Washington football team could also release Collins with a post June 1st designation, meaning they can cut ties with him prior to the date without taking the pre June 1st salary cap hit. Each team can do this for a maximum of 2 players. So this was also the tweet below it was, after June 1st, things can change dramatically. If the Burgundy and Gold were to release Collins once June 1st hit, they could actually save $7.7 million in cap.
Ooh, okay, that changes the equation significantly.
So Cameron Curl, maybe we remove you from the sell high list.
He could be a nice buy low.
Yeah.
Well, we said he was a nice buy for 2022.
Yeah, we like Cameron Curl. I was just worried that Collins was coming back.
That just accelerates if Collins is cut.
Right.
So let's look and see what Washington's cap situation
That's
is
the thing,
right now.
and we had this conversation on Twitter. That's the saving grace for Collins. They're not in a bad cap situation.
Are they not?
So, I mean, they could also just bump him down to linebacker, honestly.
They really could. Who do they have there?
Holcomb. Bostic is probably gone. I think he's like 35.
My sweet angel, Sean Dion, is now on the Lions.
There was the other guy that was really French sounding too. What was his name?
Kevin Pierre.
Kevin Pierre Louis.
I mean, that's the most French name that's ever been.
Kevin Pierre
Louis. Yeah, I'm looking right now to see what the Washington football team. Did you see they've launched a website to track their new nickname progress? This makes me want to gouge my eyes out with a fork.
Just hang on.
Just come up with a name.
Yeah.
But they're going to be the Washington football team again for 2021. Yeah.
What are they doing?
It's Washington, bro. It's Dan Snyder. They've never done anything well but sexually harass women.
True.
All right, so, oh my God, Alex Smith is the highest cap number for the Washington football team.
Did you see that story today from him?
Mm-mm.
Saying how, no one wanted him there, and he knew it. Because, think about it. That was a whole new regime. Here's this guy that's injured that has a humongous contract.
He does, dude. He's the biggest one by far.
And Alex is like, I obviously knew that, I wasn't wanted. I was a huge liability. They were probably scared to death to get me out there, and have me play. Didn't want anything else to happen to me. Said it was, just kind of an awkward situation for Smith last year.
I'm sure. So, you can do a cool thing on Over the Cap where you can change it to pre or post June 1st. Yeah, for Collins, it is a $7.7 million cap savings. Now, they still have 9.2 in dead money, but you do save 7.7.
Yep.
They have
that's that designation that they can use.
Yes, exactly. So they have a cap space of $38 million. So that's like you said, I think that's the saving grace. I don't think Collins, if they were in cap hell, I think Collins is maybe already gone.
And also, they got I guess they can do it before that. That's the thing.
They could designate it post June 1st. So
that would still allow them to actually go out and pursue other free agents, which, they may want to do that.
They need talent. That's what I'm saying. I think because you're already seeing guys get cut. A lot of guys, we saw our boy Christian Kirksey got released by the Packers. This is already happening.
Yeah, Will's up, Chris Barnes potentially. We'll see what they do in the draft and free agency.
That's right. But I think you're starting to see, because free agency is right around the corner. It is less than a month away, I'm pretty sure. I think it kicks off middle of March.
Yeah, it'll be here. Yeah. Soon it feels like.
Yeah, Alex Smith is definitely getting cut. My God. If you use that post June 1st on him, he has a cap hit of 23.3, but you save $19 million. So he is 1,000% gone.
Yeah, goodbye.
It's hard though.
Here's your trophy, man.
It's hard though because it was such a good story. He's such a good dude. Like Washington milked that whole thing for as much PR juice as they possibly could. So it's a little awkward to then cut the comeback player of the year who's like actually a good person.
Does he go anywhere else?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. XFL maybe?
I feel like he'll get another shot somewhere, at least to maybe be a backup.
Yeah. Did you see his there was a thread that came out from Kyle Bryant from Good Morning Football of all of Alex Smith's family Halloween costumes? Alex Smith goes in on some Halloween costumes, bro.
Wow.
And the funniest one was when his leg was all swollen up from these surgeries. Like it was like 3 times its normal size.
Uh-huh.
He had his kids dressed as like Left Shark from the Katy Perry Super Bowl, and they were like eating on his leg, and there was blood everywhere, like fake blood.
Hey, at least he's got a sense of humor.
He
about
does. He was like, let's make fun of this just god-awful, ginormous leg I have.
Yeah, Daddy almost lost a leg.
That's right.
Let's laugh about it.
So, yeah, all that to say, Willie Gay, I wouldn't give up too much because you're right. I do worry competition is on the way, especially if, like we think, Damian Wilson, we already know he's gone. He's a UFA, and Anthony Hitchens gets cut. If Anthony Hitchens stays, is that maybe better? Because that tells you they're not going to pursue someone better in free agency or the draft?
Yeah, I think it would be better if he stays, but I don't think he will. But, you know, it was concerning that Willie Gay didn't get much time at all.
He really didn't.
You know, so, but we like to
give him some time, learn the playbook.
He was considered a project, really.
He was.
I mean, out of all the guys. I mean, so yeah, just this is normal, folks.
We like to get our hopes up because we've seen rookie linebackers step in.
Well, we saw it. I mean, Patrick Queen looked good. Kenneth Murray looked good.
Darius Leonard a few years ago. You know, we've seen rookie linebackers come in right away and make a big difference.
Well, I'm thinking of it. Another one that we should have added to this list, Jordan Brooks.
That's right.
KJ Wright's going to be gone. He's going to be potentially in a really nice role next year. So,
do you think KJ Wright is gone?
I think so.
My spidey sense is telling me he may come back on like a 1-year cheap team-friendly deal.
Bet deal.
Yeah. We'll see, though.
Don't do it, KJ. Get your money.
Go get your money, KJ. Also, Jordan Brooks, get ready, baby. Wheels up. But seriously, KJ, go get your money, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another one. This is a list of all of some of Addie's favorite babies here. Carl Lawson. We talked about Carl a little bit, so we don't have to belabor the point too much, but high-level overview, Addie. Why is Carl Lawson a nice buy low candidate?
I just love Carl Lawson. I mean, he's going to be he's 25, going to be 26. I mean, still super young. Crazy efficiency early on in his career. That's always been kind of the thing that keeps people hanging around on him. But he's been actually really good. I mean, he was, the pressures were there for him last year. Had his best year in a couple years. And I think he's going to get paid. I think I would love to see someone like Tampa Bay, who's going to lose Shaq Barrett. I would love to see them get Carl Lawson, or someone like Cleveland if they miss it on J.J. Watt. I mean, I think Carl Lawson's going to go somewhere and have a chance to really shine. So big Carl Lawson fan. Go get him.
Go get Carl. Another guy here that's interesting to see on this list, but he falls into the same category. I guess it's a different bucket, but same zip code as C.J. Mosley in terms of forgotten players is Derwin James.
Mm-hmm.
Different reason, obviously. He had the knee injury, missed all of last season, but is coming back to a team that is ascending with the Los Angeles Chargers and a new head coach in Brandon Staley, who comes over from the #1 ranked Los Angeles Rams defense. And I know Brandon Staley has already talked about how excited he is to have Derwin James back in the lineup. And if it's all about health, that's really it. So make the move if you have safety depth. I don't know. I'm not probably banking on Derwin as like my safety one with very shallow depth behind him. But at some point, Addie, he has to defy like what we believe about him. He has to stay healthy, right?
Keanu Neal. We just saw it. That's all he's got to do is just stay healthy once, and then he's right back in the top 3.
I mean, You can make the case he's the best safety in the league
Yeah.
when healthy.
Yes.
And that's it. It's just like at some point we are going to have a reprieve from this never-ending cycle of soul-crushing injuries for him.
It's going to happen. People have these narratives, thrown on them all the time. Keenan Allen was once super injury prone, right?
Frank Gore. The ballers talk about this all the time. Frank Gore was labeled injury prone at the start of his career.
Yeah. It's some guys just get unlucky.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm gonna take the risk on Derwin.
Yeah. There's some guys where the nature of their injuries, like Brandon Cooks is a great example. The fact that he has this scary concussion history worries me a lot because he's one bad hit away from his career being over. That's true of every player. I understand that. But there are certain injuries that really scare me. I'm not slapping Derwin with the injury-prone label. Am I going to acquire him? I don't know. I think it depends on price and where my team is. But, man, I would love it's.
You don't have to spend a first anymore.
No, you don't. And I would love to be the guy that calls his shot and gets Derwin on the cheap the year he has that Devin White-type breakout. Like, we've already seen it. We know what Derwin James is, but to see him return to that form when you scooped him for like a second or something, man, that would feel good.
It's an easy call though. All he's got to do is stay healthy. That's it. And he's gonna be a top 5 safety.
That's right. There is no world in which a healthy Derwin James is not top 5.
Yep.
What about this next guy though? Does he have to stay healthy, Addy, or does he have to hopefully have a little bit of a career rejuvenation after a year with Pencil Boy? We're talking about Tracy Walker of the Detroit Lions.
Addie's biggest miss from 2020. So
Keeps you up at night.
Sure. But Tracy, it was not a great year for him. I thought he was going to be like a top 6 safety. Did not work out as such. I don't think he ever even got like 100% of the snaps until the final 2 weeks of the year. We had Sean on from the IDP guys preseason, and he referenced how they were doing wonky stuff in the preseason with splitting the snaps and stuff, and that ended up being exactly what happened.
We're like, no, Sean, no way, man.
Tracy's different, man.
You don't understand, bro.
He knew his coach. He knew his head coach. He knew
That's
he had
right.
an idiot for a head coach, and he took Tracy out the field way more than he should have. And that eventually normalized. Towards the end of the year, once Pencil Boy was gone, we saw Tracy Walker get week 16. He had 79 snaps. That turned into 9 tackles. Week 17, he had 81 snaps. That turned into 11 tackles and 1 sack.
What do you know? You put the playmaker on the field for the majority of the snaps, and good things happen.
How about that?
You kind of wonder if maybe Pencil Boy had a grudge against old Tracy.
I don't know what the deal was, man. But, yeah, we just love the way he finished. I'm still optimistic that I think he's an actual good player. I like that he makes things happen when he's out there. Really good tackler, gets in the backfield a lot. Just a good player in my opinion. So I think there's still value in him, and he's dirt cheap at this point. Probably free. He might be out there on waivers.
Yeah, seriously.
So worth a shot.
If you need some safety depth, go throw out a 5th round pick and just see if the manager will bite.
Yeah,
maybe go up to a 4th.
Or not. Just go on a 5th, and if not, maybe they release him at some. Maybe the Lions draft him, draft somebody, and it scares somebody off, or I don't know. I just think Tracy, even if it's not in Detroit, I think he has a chance to go somewhere long term and be good.
Let's talk about another guy who has a chance to be good long term. I always think about when we had Sigmund Bloom on the show, Addy. He was raving about this guy, and it really excited me. Because he said it was like watching a player teleport around the field. That's how fast this guy was and how he had these kind of instincts for being around the ball. We're talking about Devin Bush, a player just like Derwin James, where if he can stay healthy. Now, we saw some disturbing signs. He wasn't quite the player that we thought in Pittsburgh with very little competition. There you had Vince Williams, I think it was, that was kind of his linebacker mate. Then later on in the season, you had, after Bush went out, you had Spillane.
Yeah, they traded for Williamson. So
they traded for Williamson. Is Williamson back this year?
Williamson's gone.
Williamson's gone. Okay.
Yep.
So
Spillane's gone too, I think.
Okay, so it's the Devin Bush show.
And maybe Vince Williams, honestly.
It may be a CJ Mosley situation where he's Will Smith in the looking around the empty room.
Bud Dupree's gone. right? I mean, probably.
Most likely. I see him getting, picked to go to the Colts and all of these kind of like free agent landing spot pieces, which I'm very excited about.
Sounds like Connie's the author behind those.
That was PFF, actually, and my Madden team.
Yeah.
You'll love it. They Houston hired Pencil Boy as their head coach on my Madden sim.
Wow. That's perfect.
Because I watch these games sometimes, and we play Houston twice a year, and so I'll see Pencil Boy. He has the pencil in his ear.
Wow.
On Madden.
That's awesome. Shout out Madden.
Shout out.
Do you have the new one, the 21?
I bought 21, actually. It was on sale here recently.
It's sweet, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
It's a good game.
It's exactly the same in franchise mode. I really wish they'd give that thing a facelift, but it's fine.
We need to get new consoles, Josh.
I've got it. I'm playing this on Google Stadia.
Oh.
Awesome, dude. I was telling somebody else this as a gamer. I said, if Stadia can improve their game lineup, which they're supposedly doing this year, they're adding like somewhere between like 200 and 400 games to their lineup, which is decent. I can play that thing anywhere I have a Chromecast plugged in. So I just move it to any TV and plug it in and go. Chromecast is like smaller than a computer mouse.
Can you do it on your laptop?
You can play it on your laptop. You can play it on your phone. It's amazing. I mean, it's downloads and
what games? Any games?
Yeah, any
Madden?
games. Any games that are available on Stadia, you can play it on any device. And it downloads instantly. Like, that's the worst part of new consoles, is you go buy a game and it takes 4 months to download on your console. You're like, I'm ready to play. I took the day off. Here we go. Maybe you'll get to play at 8 p.m. after your kids go to bed.
Let's get through these updates.
That's right. It downloads instantly. You can start playing the very second you buy it.
I can't trust you and go off your recommendation after you gave me that GameCube that one time.
Never going to let me live it down. Hey, the GameCube had some baller games.
That thing sucked.
You were just off of the fun kind of game. You wanted the sports games and all that.
Courtside with Kobe Bryant. It was like 3-on-3. The game was trash.
That was a great RIP Mamba. How dare you?
RP Mamba for sure, but yeah, the game was not the best.
Have we had an update on Tiger Woods yet?
Jesus Christ, yeah,
that
man.
That car looked awful.
Yeah, terrible. Just, staying with the awfulness that's been the last few years, man. It's just, that's kind of how it goes as we get older. I've noticed, like, everyone we know just starts dying.
Yep.
And it's just every year, there's more and more people that you knew.
That you grew up like watching and
right.
idolizing, whether it's actors or athletes or musicians or whoever.
It sucks, man. It really sucks.
Like this time last year, a little earlier, like January, we lost Kobe. Yep.
Tiger would be,
it sounds like he's going to be okay, but that jaws of life get involved.
Just hope that he's able to play golf again.
Seriously.
He's 45. He's
already had multiple surgeries, knee surgeries,
right.
back surgeries.
I just hate that for him, man. He's had a tough 15 years.
I was talking to somebody about this because it's kind of interesting. They said they watched the Tiger Woods doc. Kind of interesting, right? That this guy, and I understand why, because he was a household name, kind of like this like wholesome, like sports figure, like revered by like families, and like he was, doing the minivan commercials and all this. Like we put him up on this pedestal.
In a video game.
Exactly, right? So he was one of the probably 2 or 3 most famous athletes in the world. Like my friend and I, we were kind of comparing that he took the moniker from Michael Jordan as the most famous athlete in the world. He kind of bridged the gap between Jordan and LeBron.
He was it. I think they were saying he was going to be the first billionaire athlete. And
it all came crashing down because what? He was cheating on his wife. He had multiple mistresses. And this almost feels kind of quaint at this point, right? Like, I'm obviously not advocating for infidelity, but it's so interesting with how many scumbags we've learned about through sports, whether they're doping or they're wife beaters or they're running drugs like Sam Hurd was.
Fighting dogs.
Exactly, right? It's kind of interesting that Tiger Woods' whole life came crashing down because he was a sex addict, essentially.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
And remember, he had to do that, like, apology. He had to, just so bizarre. I watched that recently, actually.
The documentary?
No,
the apology?
Just him apologizing on live TV. Just how bizarre and strange that was for a guy having to do that. He didn't really owe us anything. but he had to. It was just strange. It was just really weird.
You compare that, like, hate to speak ill of the dead, but like Kobe Bryant. Like, I read the 3-Ring Circus book by Jeff Pearlman, one of my favorite sports writers. Highly recommend this book. It's about the Shaq and Kobe era Lakers. We kind of forget Kobe had this horrible rape allegation where the victim essentially dropped the charges because she didn't want to testify.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is something where you should have a fall from grace if you commit a crime against another person that is that heinous.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, I mean, at least as far as it's been a while, but as far as I can remember, I mean, he was just sleeping around. He was being a sleazeball, but it wasn't like he was doping or, beating women or raping women. Like, it just seems so interesting that this guy's whole career crumbled because he liked to have sex. Like, that was it.
Yeah. I mean, golf was such a mental game anyway. I think just him being exposed like that, it just wrecked him.
It did. Like, remember he had that weird thing where he went off and like trained with the Navy SEALs.
Oh yeah.
It was like running in combat boots, and that's what destroyed his knees was he was running all these miles in combat boots. Like, it was like Michael Jordan in baseball, kind of like he had like when Jordan's dad died, right? And he had kind of this disconnect from reality almost and went and chased this dream. That was kind of like what happened with Tiger.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild.
It just feels like a different era, when we've lived through the president that we've lived through and the kind of world shattering pandemic that we've lived through. We're like, we ruined Tiger Woods' life because the dude loved to have sex.
Pretty much.
That's interesting.
It's just, no one ever knew about him. He was just such a private person, he's an odd fella. If you ever hear him talk, he's socially awkward and
very
strange.
awkward.
And that just comes from a lifetime of probably, having his dad be just a hover parent and push him into, doing things, that he may not have wanted to do at the time. But
and you know what else they talked about? I haven't watched the doc yet. I want to check it out. They said his dad was doing the same thing. He was teaching these golf lessons to attractive young women. They had a Winnebago off on the side of the course that you can see in some of the documentary footage. That's where he would take these girls and hook up with them.
Play the 19th. Oh,
that's like the picture that Sam has as his Slack avatar is like a yearbook quote from someone. He's like, I have time. What is it? I play 18 holes a day and I still find time for golf.
Yes. That's really the most iconic picture of all time, though. Is there's a streaker at one of the opens, and it's John Daly with his mullet giving a kiss to his at that time girlfriend, and then there's a streaker in the behind him with his bare ass, and it has an arrow pointing down to his butt, and it says 19th hole.
That's amazing. I haven't seen this picture. I gotta look this up.
It's crazy.
We'll share it with tonight's Sode. But can think about that. Like we crucify Tiger for that, and I get he was married. Again, I know the circumstances were a little different, but like we kind of like secretly applaud like Jeets having all these mistresses and giving them fruit baskets and
good luck
being a kind of a psycho. All right, so Devin Bush, great buy low candidate. Another player.
A little tangent there.
A little tangent, but that's good. We got to have some tangents.
Praying for you, Tiger, man. We hope you're doing okay.
Seriously, hope Tiger Woods is okay.
Hope we haven't seen the last of you, man.
For real. Another, I believe this is a player from that same draft class, Addy, right? Going into their third year, Josh Allen, not the quarterback.
Josh Allen, right?
Yeah, defensive end.
The edge rusher for Jacksonville. Just had a sophomore slump of the year, just was injured off and on, so I don't think was ever really healthy. Also, they shipped out Yannick. They had Caleb on Chase on in there. I mean, so really defenses could key on Josh Allen.
Yep.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of help around him. It's a bad team, but that team's not going to be bad. I don't think going forward. They're going to get Trevor Lawrence in there. We got Visca. We got Chark. I like Caleb to take a step forward next year. I like Miles Jack. I like Schobert. Defense isn't really that bad. So Josh Allen, great buy low. I mean, now I think in that draft that I'm doing, that co-manager draft, I think he was like DE 8 or 9, which That's great. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I expect him to be, up there, maybe not on Nick Bosa's level, but maybe like a step below him, like threatening with, 10 to 13 sacks every year.
So you're good with Josh Allen as your D end one on your team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, maybe so. I mean, I'd be fine with Josh Allen and someone like, DeMarcus Lawrence. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would want a
Cameron Jordan's going to be discounted, like with all these guys
Yes.
we mentioned. That's what I love this because
I would stack those guys. I
Yes.
want a very high end defensive end 2 if I'm rolling with Josh Allen because I'm not quite there. I would rather him be my 2 if you could get him there, but it doesn't sound like you're going to be able to. It sounds like you're going to have to swing on him
Now,
as your DN1.
This is Dynasty. Redraft,
That's true.
I bet you can get him as your DE2.
That would feel better in a redraft, but I understand Dynasty.
I bet he goes outside the top 12.
I was going to say.
Because, I mean, you're going to be guys like JPP. People are going to be on him this year.
You're late. Dollar short.
Listen to the Big 3 IDP. I mean, that was Addie's boy.
Just don't listen to the Tracy take. Let's
Don't
forget
listen to
that.
the Tracy one.
Let's delete those tapes.
But all the other ones are really good.
The other tapes are great. Now here's another older dude that's going to be forgotten because of a very bizarre injury situation that never quite
Quote
made
unquote
sense.
older.
Yes, older, right?
26.
Oh my God, is he only 26?
Still 26.
Oh my God, I thought he was like in his late 20s. Apologies, Danielle.
Yeah.
Danielle Hunter. This seems like it's a Derwin James. Here's your sign, like neon sign, buy me.
Yeah. And same deal with him. He's going like DE 6, 7. And that feels like a really nice discount. I'm not going to be surprised if he's back in the top 3.
If he's healthy, I think he's number 1. I
boy-
really do.
Our boy PFF Macri scooped him. There's another endorsement for him. Yeah.
And that John Macri. Why did we get him in our league?
Yeah, he's the worst.
What were we thinking?
No, he's being nice with sharing some PFF stuff. So love you, Mac.
It's a little trade off. We'll
Yeah.
let the fox in the hen house if we get a free PFF sub.
That's right. Also outperformed our episode last week too, didn't he, Josh?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He outperformed the Big 3 debut.
Mm-hmm.
What were we thinking? We let him in our league and in our feed.
That boy's good. I told you.
Too damn good.
Cortland Sutton.
Did we talk about Danielle already?
Did we?
I think so.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we gotta let's add some stats to Danielle. So Danielle Hunter, if you don't know, he put up back-to-back years of 70 plus tackles and 14 and a half sacks. Literally almost had like the same exact year in 18 and 19 before missing the 2020 season due to the back injury. Again, still just 26. Minnesota needs him more than ever. He's, in my opinion, probably the best asset that Minnesota has outside of Justin Jefferson.
Outside of Irv.
I do love Irv.
You do love you some
There's some
Irv.
nice assets on Minnesota. That's tough.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, but yeah, he's running back. We prefer the edge rusher.
That is true. I do like me some Danielle Hunter. I think if you can get him, I mean,
You've never been cheaper.
probably past the cheapest point that you could get him, but I'd say he's still pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's probably some people out there like me who's like, man, Danielle Hunter's old. He's got to be like 28.
That's the thing. He's been in the league so long because he came in when he was young. You know?
Is he really 26?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe
He'll be
this.
27 in October. But
Wow.
yeah, he's
That's amazing.
very young.
All right. Another injured player that we should be looking at, Addy. You mentioned him already, the wide receiver in Denver. Wide receiver 1?
Yeah, switching to offense, I guess.
Yeah, switching to offense here.
We wanted to throw a few little offense.
Yeah, of course.
On the dock. So, Cortland Sutton, tore his ACL last year. But yeah, I mean, he's going way later than he should. I've noticed. I mean, it's going to be interesting there with Judy. We'll see how that shakes out. But I mean, I don't expect, I think it's going to be like a 1B type deal.
Yeah.
1A, 1B.
I don't know how I would sort those two guys. The only thing that gives me pause is you got Drew Lock. As of right now.
They'll get
there's-
that figured out.
There's a lot of people linking Deshaun Watson to
Wow.
the Denver Broncos, but I'm pretty sure I saw John McClain come out from the Houston Chronicle, the longtime beat writer there, and say that the owner in Houston basically said, over my dead ass body is Deshaun Watson going to Denver. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be rolling with Drew Lock into the season.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really does. I hate it for these guys, but this is Dynasty, and they're going to upgrade this QB situation, if not this season, next season.
Yeah, halfway through next season, I'd say.
I was going to say, if Drew Lock is still the quarterback starting like week 9, something has gone horribly wrong.
And, they may be able to slightly upgrade. Maybe they could be a spot for Jameis, something like that, I mean, and that would be huge for Cortland's fantasy value.
Absolutely. We know Jameis can support 2 top-end wide receivers. We saw him do it.
Yep. So I like Sutton there. I mean, either way, he'll likely be the red zone, target. Judy will probably be the one catching more balls and stuff, but both those guys should be all over 1,000 yards. So
yep, agreed. I love Cortland Sutton. It's just one of those where it's a great convergence of different factors. QB, turmoil.
Judy's there.
Judy's there, coming off an injury.
Hamler too. We don't mention him enough.
Yep. Heck, even
Noah Fant. Albert O. I mean, really, they are so set up for
Melvin Gordon's
the quarterback.
A nice little, especially they bring back Phillip Lindsay. Like, that's a sneaky good landing spot.
They have a really good offense
for a quarterback.
Yep.
That could be, well, they're bringing Big Ben back. I was going to say, that could be a nice little, because you got some speedsters, you got some good tight ends. Like, just let Ben throw it in like 2.3 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, Debo Samuel, Addy. It's funny because you're hitting on kind of the guys where you have these hot shot rookie, now second-year guys. You got Brandon Ayuk out there in San Francisco as well. But why is Debo Samuel the guy that you're wanting to buy low on?
So Debo Samuel, his last 20 games, he scored 10-plus fantasy points 14 times, including 20-plus for 4 of those.
That's very nice.
Yeah, shout out to Guru Fantasy World for that tweet. He is averaging 9.8 yards after the catch since 2019, which is the most among wide receivers in the NFL.
And we know this. He's kind of in that vein of A.J. Brown, yards after catch. He's a yak monster.
Yeah, God.
He's a grown-ass man pre-age 28 and beyond.
Doesn't have the A-dot as some of these other guys, but that's not necessarily his fault. They're not
that's
using
Jimmy
him.
G.
Yeah, they're not using him in that way.
Wasn't Jimmy G's A-dot like really low anyways?
He sucks.
Yeah, they're not trusting this guy to throw down the field.
And Debo Samuel just was not healthy last year. So I mean he had that I think it was like the fractured ankle before the year started.
Eddie, would you,
or maybe it was some bone in his foot.
Would you ever walk again if you fractured your ankle?
No, I'm good. No,
I would just be like, nah, I'm going to do the wheelchair thing now.
I'm retiring on the spot.
I'm going to lay in bed.
Mm-hmm.
I live in my bed now.
Yeah, I play football via Madden.
That's right. I don't even know that I could play Madden. I would just be in so much pain.
Yeah,
I would not want to be awake. I just want to be asleep a lot.
Just go ahead and
just go ahead and just wheel me into the river.
But we love Debo Samuel. I mean, Brandon Ayuk, he's getting a lot of the pub right now. And I like Ayuk, but he was the only guy there last year. He benefited a lot from Kittle and Debo not being completely healthy. So I don't think there's much of a difference between the two, at least not, Debo's getting drafted like 2-3 rounds after Ayuk.
Is he really?
Yeah. So
what's it looking like with Sutton versus Judy? Same thing?
Judy's, yeah, definitely same thing.
So this is kind of a pattern here as well of buying the forgotten alpha potentially.
Yep. And also I like San Fran to eventually upgrade the quarterback as well.
Did you see Peter King's crazy ass trade
with us getting the Deshaun Watson?
Yes, and like the Niners trade like a bunch of picks and end up with Kirk Cousins.
I know. Isn't it crazy? These just people out here just like desperately making content and how dumb it all is.
It's so dumb. That's Peter King. Peter King doesn't need to grind the content stone.
I know. All this stuff most of these things that people put out are just so dumb. But here we are talking about it.
We're just lapping it up. Give us the stupid ass content, please.
So we're idiots.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin Eckler. I was actually taking a little peek ski at Austin Eckler in our main league. I wish he didn't have the exact same contract as Ezekiel Elliott, who I just shipped off. But I agree that in a vacuum, in a non-contract league, Austin Eckler is a great buy low candidate. I think he's one of the most talented running backs in the league. I'm probably a little biased because I watched him jump over like 5 pads in that Hard Knocks episode.
No, yeah.
His explosiveness is incredible. He's so well built. He's strong. He's going to have an offensive upgrade. I think this Los Angeles team is only going to get better on offense. And yeah, man, I'm a huge Austin Eckler believer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and if you look at his game log, he was actually pretty solid last year. Let's just roll through it. Looks like he played like 8 or 9 games, but
he missed most of the season, I think, at the start.
But I mean, his worst game was 9.7 points, and then he had games of 32.8, 23.9, 22.6. Those were his 3 best games. But then he was, basically between 10 and 17 every week. So,
I'll take that. That's very nice.
Totally fine.
I love him as my RB2.
Yep.
Probably not comfortable with him as my RB1.
But that's his price now. He's like a RB,
That's right.
He's like RB 12 to 15 probably.
Yep, I like that a lot. I think that you're going to see, I believe Mike Williams is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they actually used the option.
Did they bring him back? Okay,
so he'll be back next year.
He'll be back, but Hunter Henry is a free agent.
Yes.
So that's a nice target. We know Austin Eckler is a PPR machine.
Mm-hmm.
And with a, Hunter Henry, who's been on and off the field, I get it. But, yeah, I like Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
I'd be trying to scoop him up right now if I could.
And we love Herbert. I mean, we like
That's
that
right.
offense.
Anything attached to Herbert is very much wheels up in
and
my
Herbert
mind.
did not mind checking down to him either.
That's right. DJ Chark, let's wrap things up with Herbert DJ Chark. Wide receiver 53, Addy. Played 13 games. Put up 53 for 706 and 5 touchdowns, but you have reason to be optimistic. Why?
Trevor Lawrence. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Well, take care. We'll see y'all next week. Just play the music.
That's really it. That offense, I mean, that whole team's going to get an upgrade. That offense has a chance to be really fun, actually. We'll see what happens with DJ Chark 2021 and beyond. But, yeah, I mean, I like it. He's still super young. This will be his 4th year in the league. A lot of people don't realize he's like 6'3". He's a
big dude.
He's a big guy.
Is this a rising tide lifts all boats scenario for you?
Pretty much.
Trevor Lawrence coming in?
Yep.
Except for James Robinson?
James Robinson, we'll see. I think they're going to bring someone else in.
I think they have to bring in competition. Who else is there?
Yeah, and anyone is really competition for him. He's an undrafted guy.
That's right.
They're bringing a 4th round guy.
Exactly. That's immediately the higher draft capital guy.
Right.
And there's a lot of good running backs in this class, from what I understand.
Yes.
Two studs, right?
Yep.
Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, but there's a big fat middle where a lot of guys could land in primo situations and immediately become dynasty relevant.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not buying James Robinson. I think I've referenced Steve Slayton a few pods ago.
What was the other Slayton you called him? There's a Darius Slayton.
AC.
AC Slayton. Love it. Great save by the bell ref.
Yes, sir.
All right, Eddie.
Rest in peace, Screech, bro.
That's right.
Damn.
Losing everybody this year. 2021 sucks. I thought this was supposed to be a better year.
RIP 6 Dogs. Emo rap out there.
Are you coming out with your emo trap album?
We're working on it.
Visca is my son. Yeah, 2021. I was talking to somebody else about this earlier today. It was like, what fresh hell awaits us around every corner this year? We were in our homes. We had a kid, so we were home anyways. We worked from home, so we were home. Then COVID hit, so we were home for that. This year, it's like, all right, let's throw in Josh has shingles now. Josh gives his son Paxton chickenpox from those shingles. So let's stay home for that. Let's have a massive ice storm on top of that to stay home for that.
Yeah, no, like the universe is telling you, stay home.
We don't want you out, Josh. So yeah, it's been a year.
Everybody's good though, right?
We're all good. Yeah. Pax is hanging in there. He's a trooper.
Hey, still here, guys. We're just getting stronger from these experiences.
I've done 4 pods with shingles, so I think I'm hanging in there okay.
Yeah, you had to check with me and see if I had chicken pox.
You did have chicken pox, right?
For 100%, I've got the scars to prove it, brother.
Do you have scars?
I got one like right here on my forehead that like anytime I show people are like, oh my God, I never noticed.
I thought you just was like a straw imprint.
Rick, I know. It's a chicken pox scar. One right there and there's one right down here on the chin.
Well, I'll be Eddie.
Right. Hey, scars remind us that the past is real.
Isn't that a song? Who sang that
Papa
song?
Roach.
I got nothing else other than
I'm gonna shake your hand. I want to shake his hand.
also.
Happy the counter!
And this is for Sam. We know you're listening, Sam, and we appreciate it. So just a couple farts to wrap things up here.
Love you, Sam.
Yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in.
Whip your ass in golf, Sam.
It's golf weather, Addy.
60 degrees tomorrow.
It's insane.
I'm gonna try and think of a way to leave work early.
This pretend like you have COVID. I feel like
I don't feel good.
yeah, just start sneezing or coughing. I feel like that's a good way to
Tell him you messed yourself.
just grab. I don't know if Johnny wants this shared, but I'm going to share it anyway. Said he panicked left a Zoom call today because he had to go blow it out. And I was like, look, man, sometimes your anus drives the bus on the Zoom calls.
Johnny, that's happened a lot though. That's not the first time that's happened to Johnny. So
Johnny, we're catching on here that maybe
just see a doctor, see
Yeah.
what's going on down there.
got some irritable bowel syndrome. But speaking of Johnny, and not speaking of his bowels, Addy, been doing some work. As you know, we have the divisional preview series coming up this summer. We're getting a little crazy with that. And I want to go ahead and tease folks, because why the hell not? We're going big. We're going 32 guests for all 32 teams, Addy. And more than that, because some of these teams are going to have multiple people on to talk about it. So it's probably going to be close to like 35, 40 guests.
Oh, baby.
It's going to be great.
Can't wait to see all these guests, baby.
We got to find some people that actually like certain teams. Like,
that actually like us.
I know. Would you want to be, who the hell are you? Do I know you? So look forward to it. We've already booked like 11 teams, and we're going to split them up so every team gets their due, Eddie. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We have Sig is committed to coming back on the pod. We got some newbies. Did you tell him about our boy Schaff?
Oh, yes. He's going to be in the feed with John Macri's pod.
But he's also going to be on our show at some point.
Is he? He said yes.
Yes. You have him on the thing. You have him scheduled.
I had him as a potential idea. We haven't booked him yet.
He's good. He's good. You're good, Matt. You're on.
You're on, Matt. You got approved, buddy. Congrats.
You're not listening, definitely.
Yeah, appreciate you. But yeah, we got some great guests. Sessler's going to come back on the pod. Yeah, it's going to be.
We need to get some NFL players. We're going to try and get George Fan up in here.
We're going to try. He's going.
That would be so money too, because think about it, fellas. We can and ladies, we can ask him like, who are these terrifying edge rushers that you're going against?
How bad was it with Adam Gase? Just
Be
honest. He's fired. It's not going to affect your employment.
Yeah. We're gonna get all the answers out of him.
I would. Our boy Jacob is training George. He was training George Kittle as well. Like all the Georges apparently. Yeah, D1.
D1. Shout out.
Addie's repping tonight. But we want to give our shout out as well to our patrons: Bobby, Jason, Jeff, Nico, Lauren, Aaron, Tom, and DJ Keltown. We appreciate you all. Addie, did you see the big news? Of course, Spotify owns Anchor. They're going to start rolling out some new subscription options for people who use Anchor for their podcasts.
That's us.
So, you have Patreon where you can create patron-only content. They're basically going to add that into Anchor. So we've got some pretty cool opportunities coming up with Anchor here in the future.
We had to do some secret, sexy shows.
May have to get behind that paywall.
Yes, sir.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes if I'm not winning the XFFL.
That OnlyFans.
The what?
Making OnlyFans.
OnlyFans? I don't know what that is, but I'm scared.
You got to take your clothes off. Take
Oh,
photos.
got the webcam. Got to move it a little closer. All right. We appreciate y'all. We hope you had fun. Hope we sounded delicious. Cheers to you all.
Sure, nation. What you guys think? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, whatever.
And we'll take you out on that. We'll see y'all next week. For Mike Wohlert in the feed, talking IDP 101. Until then, take care. Stay safe. We love you all. And we'll see y'all next week.
This is Big 3 IDP.